In today's video, I'm going to be walking you through how to increase the show-up rates for your events. We've used these strategies on multi-thousand attendee in-person events and multi-thousand attendee virtual events. And of course, there are a lot of important aspects about events. There's monetization, there's experience design, there's marketing. However, none of that really matters if you don't get people to show up. And the strategies I'm going to be walking you through today are actionable, they're relevant. We're using them on our events today with our clients. And not only are they designed to get people to show up, but they're also designed to get buyers into seats. So getting buyers to show up. All right, enough talking. I'm going to jump into my computer right now and we'll dive into it. How to increase the show up rates for your live events. And like I said, this works for both in-person and virtual events as well. Now, before I dive into the actual strategies and tactics for increasing show up rates for your events, I want to talk about something called the second sale. The second sale is extremely important to understand because it lays the foundation for increasing show up rates to your events. And if you just try to implement the strategies and tactics into your business and your events without understanding the second sale and the foundation, it's going to fail and you're not going to have a true understanding of what is happening and why the strategies and tactics work. So we're going to dive into this first, and then we're going to dive into actually how you can increase show up rates for your events. Now, with events, there are two sales that are happening. The first is selling someone on buying a ticket or RSVPing to your event. And the second sale is actually selling those who bought tickets or RSVP'd to actually showing up to the event. Now, the number one thing I hear with the clients I work with or other entrepreneurs that are getting into the event space is a lot of people assume that people are just going to show up to your event just because they bought a ticket or because they RSVP'd. Just because they spent a couple $100s or they went and filled out your funnel doesn't mean that they're going to show up. And it's your job to sell them again to come and attend your event. And the reason that this happens is because events are kind of inconvenient for the attendee. Regardless if you're hosting it during the week or on the weekend, during lunch hours or after 7 p.m., whatever it is, you're going to be taking time away from that attendee in some regard, whether it's time away from work or it's time away from their friends and family. They're going to have to remove themselves from their everyday life to come and attend your event. And that can be incredibly inconvenient. And more so if this is an in-person event and they have to go travel somewhere, whether it's driving down the highway or even like booking flights and hotels and flying to a different state or a different country. That is a massive commitment for an attendee. And it's your job to sell that attendee on why it's worth it for them to do that. Because it can be very easy for them to say, you know what, I spent $200 on a ticket, but I don't really want to leave my kids or my wife. And I don't want to take 3 days off work. I'm just not going to go. They might ask you for a refund, or they just might ghost you and not show up. So it's on you as the entrepreneur or the planner to sell your ticket buyers and the people that have RSVP'd for your event to actually come and attend the event. So those are the two sales that are happening with events. And essentially you should be asking yourself, why should they take time out of their day to come and attend your event? And you should be relaying that information to them to sell them on attending your event as well. So that's the second sale. Now we're going to be diving into strategies for increasing second sale conversions. The first strategy that I want to talk about is consistent communication. So from the moment someone purchases a ticket or RSVPs for your event, there should be consistent communication between the event host and the attendee. This should be event logistics, event details. I'll be talking about this in a few slides, but continuing to market the event to the attendee. And these touch points and this communication can ramp up as you get closer to the event. If someone buys a ticket 3, 4, 5, 6+ months in advance, during this time frame, I'm usually sending about one email per month. But then within a month of the event, I'm usually sending about one email per week. And then those last couple of weeks leading up to the event, I'm usually sending 2, 3, maybe even 4 emails per week, just to visually increase the amount of touch points so that the attendee can see that something's happening, the communication is ramping up, so they can understand that the event is coming up. And also so they're just like staying up to date on event updates and also all the cool stuff that we're going to be covering at the event. So consistent communication with the attendee is extremely important for the second sale. The next strategy I want to talk about is continuing to market your event to the buyers. And this is where the second sale happens. And this kind of all of the slides, all of the points I'm going to be talking about today are kind of captured in this slide right here of just continuing to market the event to the buyers. But I want to dive in a little deeper on this one specifically. Ways that you can market your event to buyers is continuing to announce speakers, tease content, show them why they should show up. Something you can also do is with speakers that you're signing for your event, you can go live with them to kind of tease the content they're going to be talking about, and just building a lot of hype around the event and making sure all of the hype that you build is being sent directly to the attendees so that they're being sold to come and attend. So that's kind of a high level summary of continuing to market your event to buyers. And like I said, every single strategy I'm covering in this video is going to be a form of marketing the event to your buyers. Now, up next is community. So you can actually build a community for your attendees to connect before the event, and you can kind of build your event around a community. And this allows you to provide value to your attendees before the event even starts. You can do this on schools, Slack, circles, whatever it is. Just give your people a place to RSVP, buy a ticket, and then go into a community so they can begin engaging with other attendees. They can hear what other attendees are up to. You can put some courses in there, some resources. You can go live in there to engage with your attendees. And you can also use this as a place to communicate with the attendees and send them event details, logistics, any updates, remind them when the event is, announce speakers, whatever it is. You can use a community as just a place to communicate with all of your event attendees while giving them a place to receive value before the event even starts and also engage with other attendees. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that those who engage with other attendees prior to the event are much more likely to show up than people who are kind of in ghost mode and then see your email one day before the event even starts and then jump on. The people who are actually in the community engaging with other attendees are much more likely to show up. Strategy number 4 is hosting pre-event networking. And this can be as simple as Zoom meetups before the event. But the whole idea is you just get attendees onto a call and you engage with them. You provide value. You answer questions. Maybe you bring on a speaker that you sign and do a Q&A about what they're going to be talking about. You tease event content. Whatever it is, just get people onto a call and establish that almost face-to-face touch point with these attendees, because that is really going to increase their likelihood of showing up to the event. If they show up to your pre-event call, they're not going to do that unless they are planning on showing up to your event. And also, if somebody's questioning if they want to show up to your event, if they show up to the pre-event call and they see that you are a great person, you have good energy, and you provide a lot of value, that's also going to increase their likelihood of showing up, because they're going to associate the value of that call with the value of the event. And this is similar to having a community app. The whole goal of this is just to get your attendees engaged with the event and other attendees before the event even starts. So that's strategy number 4. Number 5 is creating FOMO. And all of these different little strategies are going to be doing this, but creating FOMO is a really powerful strategy. And you want to make people upset that they won't be able to attend your event. And you can do this through the marketing material that I mentioned earlier and some other ways to create FOMO. You can apply urgency on your event, establish a clear deadline on when they can RSVP or buy tickets. If they see that deadline and it's approaching, people might get scared and be fearful of missing that deadline. So have some urgency, have some scarcity. Maybe you have a set number of tickets that you have available for your event. Maybe it's 100, and on your website you have a counter that takes away tickets every time it's purchased, or you have the 75 out of 100 or something out of 100, a little bar at the top of your website, and it kind of just shows that tickets are being claimed, and this can create some scarcity and some fear of missing out. You can showcase what they'll miss. You can use some social proof and just create a lot of noise on social media. One thing that we've done with our clients and events in the past is if an event is coming up and they have social media platforms, you want the entire social media to be just caked with event promos and event marketing material. And you want it to be like the only thing that they're talking about. Like someone goes to the page and they know the one thing they know for sure, they don't even know what you sell, but they know that you're going to be throwing an event soon. That's how much content you want to be putting up on your social media platform before an event. Strategy number 6 is engineering some incentives for showing up into your event. And you can incentivize people to show up by doing giveaways where the winner is announced at the event. So maybe in the whole process leading up to the event, you create some sort of giveaway. It could be as simple as just giving away an Xbox or giving away some gift cards. For an event we did in the past, we actually gave away a Tesla before a virtual event. And you obviously have your criteria on what they need to do to win the giveaway, but in order to claim the prize of the giveaway, they need to actually attend the event live to claim the prize. So that's a good way to incentivize people to show up. One thing to be careful there, we learned that a lot of people will just show up for the sake of winning the prize. So you might get a lot more attendees, but you also might get people who aren't there to listen to you or who aren't there to learn. They're just there to claim their prize, and then they'll leave if they don't win, or if they do, whatever it is. But just be careful. That's kind of, you might lose out on some quality attendees if you do giveaways where the winner is announced at the event. And something else you can do is contests where the winner is announced at the event. I know Funnel Hacking Live did this really well. They used to do affiliate contests, and they would announce the winner of the event affiliates at the event itself, and they would give away a really cool prize like a supercar. That could be a really cool way to get people to show up. And another one is giveaway bonuses that can only be claimed if they attend the event. So maybe somebody buys a ticket to the event and they get a couple courses that you've made in the past, but the only way they can access those courses is if they actually show up to the event. Those are a few ideas. Now, strategy number 7 is to actually charge for attendance. We have found that those who buy tickets are much more likely to show up to an event than those who are attending for free. If you're hosting free events, expect more of a drop off, but it can kind of be a trade off. If you want more attendees and you're going for volume, free could be the way to go. However, you might experience more of a drop off rate and you also might experience much lower quality attendees. But if you have a paid event, there might be lower amount of attendees in the actual room, but they're going to be higher quality. They might be better fit to be buyers, and you're going to see a much lower show up rate. So you kind of want to weigh the pros and cons. We've done both free and paid events, and they both worked out. You just kind of have to establish those expectations for yourself depending on which event you choose. Now that wraps up all of the strategies for increasing show up rates to your events. There are a few more. I might make a part 2 video on this, but these are the 7 strategies that we're using right now with our clients and with our events to increase show up rates. And like I said at the beginning of the video, there are a ton of important aspects when it comes to events. There's the marketing, there's the content, there's the experience design, there's the actual fulfillment of the event. But none of that matters if you can't get people to show up to your event. And more importantly, if you can't get buyers to show up to your event. So if you aren't using any of these strategies to increase show up rates for your events, I highly recommend that you engineer them into your event process so that you can get more people attending your events. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below, and I will see you in the next video.